Hey, let's try this one. All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome to a quick announcement. I'm running only a little bit late, 5 minutes. Yeehaw! All right, so I wanted to bring some attention to some stuff I've been doing on my website because I'm finally getting my crap put together into a place that is somewhat useful. Yesterday, I was looking at my. You remember? I don't know if you guys pay attention to everything I do. Like I think you do. Probably not. But anyway, I was looking at my site the other day. I was showing everybody what was going on with my site, and I went to the shop, and the shop was down. It was not working, so I was having some problems with that. And I did some updates to that, and it looks like I didn't add the shop back to the. Oh, Jesus. Everything is always hard. I swear to God, I make it hard on myself, you guys. I really do, and it's just because uh, I don't want to do all the work it takes to stay like as a normal person. I just sort of it's difficult, you know. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's difficult for me to not or I mean to do the little things that have to be done so that everything works together the way you want it to. And it's like putting away your tools when you're done with them so that they're where you want them next time and all that stuff. Because like I forget, I mean, honestly, I have issues with short-term and long-term memory. Why isn't it updating? That's great. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'll get it fixed in a minute. Maybe there's something that lets me do this supposedly somewhere. Anyway, I got my shop working. Can't see it. You can't go to it, of course, but whatever. Uh, if I go through the right things, it's supposed to update. And it doesn't, of course. This is so frustrating. Sometimes it's just so fucking frustrating. Fucking thing here. I swear to God. Main menu. Refresh. Oh, here we go. All right. So apparently, yeah. So the reason my shop wasn't working is because my whole fucking site template was broken, and I had to spend most of yesterday fixing it because it was just so broken. And it turns out that that was a blessing in disguise. My attention was strongly focused on everything but the crap that was going on yesterday. So that turned out to be a benefit probably to everybody, everybody out in the world, because I think if I was paying attention yesterday, I would have said and done some really stupid things that I don't want to say and do in public or whatever. I was very upset. I guess is a nice way to put it. With the course of events that I saw unfolding in the universe at large, had me not in a good spot, I guess is a good way to put it. Um, show show. Okay. So anyway, this is my updated site. This is what I worked on while everything was going to hell yesterday. Um, by the time I was aware of what was going on in Minneapolis, of course, my son, I saw that someone had gotten unalived, I guess is how they're putting it these days. But I didn't like really pay attention to the details. I was just like, oh, great, another one, because I just couldn't deal with it. I got emotionally overwhelmed right away, and I immersed myself in my work. So, yeah, so that's some crap, you guys. I mean, that's some terrible crap going on over there right now in Minneapolis. What's going on with the whole all of the United States of America right now is bullshit, you know. And I'm super upset about it, and I don't want to be like I don't know. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I don't want to advise anybody else to get themselves in trouble. I want to stay focused on my source and my source of peace and calm in times of trouble. You know, I definitely want to do the the light against the darkness, right? I mean that's important to me. That actually, you know what? I'm gonna update that too. But I want to get rid of all the shit in the world, right? And I want to do that the best way possible, and I want to do it in ways that are useful and beneficial to everybody, to all of us, because we're all you know, we're all in on this together, you know, and it's up to us. And I want I want to focus on being the light against darkness, you know, and using magic to heal ourselves so that we can heal the world, and to create safe zones of mental clarity where other people can find illumination, you know, the illuminating force of fucking Zeus inside of us, you know, open our third eyes and be that aware part of the universe. You know, all these people who are upset with each other and murdering people in the streets, they are not in touch with their source. They have lost connection with everything, you know, with everything. They're living these isolated, brutal response loops and that are just pumped full of darkness and despair, and you know, like all those guys in the ice things, you know, they were all molested, you know, like 9 out of 10 men have had some kind of sexual molestation thing happen to them when they were kids. I mean, the statistics say 6 out of 10, but you know, honestly, it's more like 9 out of 10 because people don't talk about it. And all these guys out there, they're dealing with their issues without, you know, without having any support for it, because they don't think that therapy is useful or whatever. I don't know. They just don't get it, you know. But whatever it is, they're damaged, you know. And it doesn't really matter how they got there. It really doesn't matter how they got there. It's just that's where they're at. And regardless of what happened to them to shape them into the monsters that are out there slaughtering people in the streets now, shedding our blood in the streets, that took a lot to make them into that, you know. But whatever it was, they participated on the days of their actions, and they're accountable for that, you know. And we're all accountable for everything we do. Every single one of us are, you know, to ourselves first of all, to the all thing. You know, we owe the all thing a fucking explanation for our time on Earth. You know, this isn't going to go well for them. This isn't going to go well for them after they die. Right? There's a whole process that happens after you die that we know about in our Hermetic studies that involves a lot of fucking suffering for people who fuck their shit up in this life. You know, it's not karma, it's not hell, it's just recycling, and they burn it off, yeah. You know, Ea got buried in a pile of corpses, and he saw it. He saw what happens when you die. There's a loop, and there's some people going up and some people going down, and then after a recycling phase, they go back into life. You know, they're returned back to existence. You know, but if you've got a lot of negative crap on your soul when you die that you've done in your life because you never bothered to clean up your crap, or you took out your crap on other people around you, you know, you've got to pay the price for that. And it's going to come for all of them, you know, on the other side for sure. But also on this side, you guys, there's accountability that we can hold them to with justice, with process, with laws, with law and order, you know. I mean, the whole due process thing that is assured to us in our Constitution, that's legal power, right? That is supposed to be respected. And if it's not, then, you know, it's not, and there's no legal power respecting us, right? In that case, it's gloves off, you know. It's anarchy. And I'm not advocating anarchy. I believe that we should have a nice structure that we can rely on. I thought that's what America was all about. You know, the Constitution is, hermetically speaking, it's fucking great. You know, if every one of us were activating our awareness of our higher source and where we're coming from, cleansing out our lenses and living a life of creation and creativity and respect for one another as mutual embodiments of the all thing, you know, fucking that would be great. America's Constitution is great to express the light, but it's so corrupted. I mean, it's a perfect example of what happens to human beings. You know, this ideal person fucking incarnates, and then in this material world, it gets all fucked up by greed and ambition and all the negative aspects of the seven spheres. You know, this is stuff that you know, it is known. It is not a it's not unknown, all right? In the Corpus Hermeticum, it talks about the 7 things that we give up in the 7 spheres as after you die. You know, the first zone, you give up the energy of growth and waning, right? Second zone, divisive evils. You know, third zone, where is it? Concupiscence, the guile of the desires. That's concupiscence, right? That's just fucking for fucking sake. Not that there's anything wrong with that in particular, but taking it from other people without respecting their divinity, you know, like that's wrong, you know. Domineering arrogance, daring, and the rashness of audacity. That's a Mars thing. De-energize, right? Striving for wealth by evil means, right? Avarice. All that stuff. And then staring falsehood. The final is the fear of death, right? So these are the evils that we have to face when we have to get rid of out of our corrupt side of ourselves as we're going through these initiations, you know, and tapping into the light and restoring our powers that were given in the Corpus Hermeticum. We release all of these negative side of things, right? Well, you know, I mean, that's the corruption that has destroyed this ideal nation, right? And that's just like the corruption that we get in our manifestations and our materializations. We get corrupted by our youth, by our parents raising us poorly, by the people abusing us that are either our parents or our parents' friends or whoever it was that got to us, the people at school, the people in positions of authority over us. They've all corrupted us. They've projected their darkness that they got projected onto them. Doesn't excuse them for it, but they projected that onto us, and we have to fucking clean it up. We stop the wheel of samsara when we stop contributing to karma. We stop making things worse, right? And I'm not saying don't protest. I mean, you got to make things better, and I don't think that I don't think it's going to get better if we all stay home. All right, I don't think that's how it's going to work out here, you know. But part of Hermeticism is fucking cleansing the lenses, cleansing the things that we've got broken in our hearts and ourselves. You know, I mean, it's awful what's going on. And we have to do this work, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's the great work, right? And we have to cleanse ourselves. And just as we have to cleanse ourselves and create that philosopher's stone, we have to do it to project it into the world to clear up their fucking shit too, right? This is what the Hermetic work is about. It's to project healing and light against the darkness. To fight against it, right? Because and how do you fight? You just shine. You show up on fire and fucking stuff burns, guys. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. That's why we do the great work, is to cleanse it so that we can create the stone and heal that shit. God damn it. And it's not fucking easy. It's hard. It's work. You know, people are on the line. It's terrible what's going on right now. It's terrible. And like, if you're not mad about it, what the fuck? Whew. Oh my God. I know I feel things 12 times better. Bigger, better. I think it's better sometimes, but it's bigger, right? My emotions, but you guys out there that can control yourselves, it's not my lack of control. You guys, it's not that. That's not what I have with mental illness. What it is I have everything turned the fuck up, right? Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. I am upset, right? I am, and I think everybody else should be too. I don't expect everybody else to be as upset as me. You know, I have to fucking regulate, and I have to do all this shit not to fucking lose my shit. It's hard, you know. I'm feeling it, but you guys have got to be feeling it too. Like everybody else out there, you've got to be feeling it too. It's awful right now, and it's not coming from the. It's coming from everywhere. Everybody's responding to it. You know, it's the guy down the street that voted for Trump. right? He's the one that fucking started this shit. He wanted ice out there. It's my neighbor, you guys. The fuck? You know, that's our problem. So light, right? Light in the darkness. My darkness is right next door. That's the darkness I gotta fight. And, you know, much as I would love to pick up bricks and start throwing them, or at least, you know, put them in a bag, you know, I would love to be doing that shit right now. I'm not doing that shit right now because I know better. I know I have to be careful with this stuff. But I want to. Oh my God. But whatever. Rule of law, you know, we've got to have structure and order. And if there's no structure and order, fuck it, man. But in the meantime, magic. We got to be doing our magic. So I've got my magic going over there. And you can see it over there by the bong. But it's we got our magic going, right? So we're shining the light in the darkness. We're sending the light against the darkness. Hopefully you're doing it too. Lux contra tenebris, right? It's not lux ad tenebris. It's not light in the darkness. It's light against the darkness, right? And it's shine your fucking light against this shit. You know, show up and do something about it. My son's out there on the streets in Minneapolis, and here's the thing: I got two sons, and I got one son who's staying home and being safe and taking care of people in his orbit, making sure that they're okay, checking in on them, providing emotional support, providing stability, providing regulation for them, right? Providing them the ability to decompress, the ability to recover, right? That's what he's doing, and he's not out in the streets protesting. He would have a meltdown. You know, he'd be incapable of responding to the kind of violence that's happening out there, and he knows his limits. He's careful about that, but he hasn't stopped fighting and supporting those who are out on the front lines, right? That's I'm so honored by that, you know, like, wow, it's great. And my other son's out in the fucking streets, right? And he's sending me videos of what they're doing and what they're chanting and what they're saying and and I can't share it, you know, because it ain't safe, but it's beautiful. It's inspiring. Anyway, that's what my kids are doing. All right. And that's what I raised. I didn't do great as a dad, but they're doing great. So anyway, that's the kind of thing that I think is important. Anyway, we got to move this light out against the darkness, right? We got to keep this stuff going. All right. And that's how we do it. Anyway, the things I can offer, you know, the things I can do, from wherever I'm at, you know, first of all, I mean, I can do stuff in my neighborhood, which I am doing. And that's the first thing, you know, hearts and minds against the fucking darkness. Try to bring them some fucking cookies or some shit. Or something. And you know, but there's also people in my neighborhood at risk, right? And letting them know that if they need somewhere to stay when there's weird cars driving through the neighborhood, they're welcome to hang out here and have some coffee until the things go away, because that's what I can offer right now. You know, I can be in the streets, I can wave signs, you know, but I can also offer somewhere for people to go that isn't where they're expected to be. Right? I mean, it's one of the few luxuries I have that I can share. I'm happy to do that. You know, let the people know that I know are obviously at risk here in my neighborhood, that they have somewhere to go. Right? That's what we can do. We can provide shelter. We can provide safety. We can provide protection as much as our privilege is allowed to do. You know, that's what we're here for. If you have it, if you have privilege, fucking use it, man. That's it. That's what we can do, you know. We can not spend money on all this fucking bullshit. I don't think one goddamn dime should be going to a billionaire's food supply chain. These vampires that are sucking our life out and watching us bleed in the streets because we had the audacity to come out against the 1% a couple of years ago. What the fuck? That's what this is all about, in my opinion. All this bullshit that we're facing in the streets. This is what happens when we start talking about the 1%. When we start shining the light on who's at the top of the fucking food chain eating us, right? The rich are eating us, and it's not all the rich, it's just 1% of them. And what have they done? They put all their billions of dollars worth of money into fascism, into fomenting polarization between me and my neighbor, creating fights in the streets, this distraction from the Epstein files. The Epstein files was also a distraction from the 1%, but it got too close to the 1% because they were all part of it, because they like that shit. They're evil, they're dark, they are the forces of darkness, and they've corrupted this world for their benefit, and we know it. And all the shit that's going on in the streets right now is their defense tactics, 100%. And also oh my God, I'm going to stop talking about astrology too, by the way. I posted about how Saturn was conjunct with Uranus or something, and it wasn't. It was Neptune. I was like, fuck. So outer planets, I can never tell them apart. Anyway, I get upset about things, but I know my limitations. What we got to do is focus on what we can, right? And just be the light that we can be. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it possible for for people to do that. My courses, let's see. Okay. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to do the things that I think are important in the great work. All right. So where is it? Okay. So if you go to my website, on browse available courses, basic curriculum, no fee, go to the overview page, right? This will put you, get you with all the things that you need to do the basics of the great work, okay? Conjuration class will teach you how to conjure spirits, tutelary spirits, all right? This will teach you how to form a relationship with your holy guardian angel, or the metric equivalent, because having a divine assistant was something that magicians did a long time before Abramelin came out. Okay, the PGM, one of the first rites in the PGM is how to attain a supernatural assistant to make the offerings and the connections to the higher powers so that you can get your cleanse on. The holy guardian angel provides the offerings to the planetary powers that when they come, their presence resonates with the power of the spheres, the power of the essences that they represent. The planetary powers, they vibrate that shit right into the room, and you received a portion of those powers on your way to incarnating, and that portion of those powers inside you vibrates right back. And as it vibrates, it shatters all the darkness that has been corrupted around you, right? And then it cleans out. That's what the initiation process is about. And I'll be talking about that in a minute. But the ability to contact these spirits so that you can start this work, this great work of cleansing your spheres, the holy guardian angel makes that super easy. That's why Crowley was like, the sole point of a magician should be to get the holy guardian angel. That used to be that was the first thing you did, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It should have been something that we all know how to do. But anyway, you conjure the HGA. Anyway, this will teach you more about that. Tutelary spirits. Principles of planetary magic, right? This is the 7 spheres, all right? The path of a planetary magician is understanding how the principles and the qualities of the 7 spheres combine to create all this. Everything that we're experiencing has Mars and Venus, and each of the 7 spheres, the powers of those spheres, the resonance of those spheres is vibrating in our lives in the proper proportions, right? And if you understand what the proportions are, you understand how everything is made, everything manifests in proportions of these things, right? And that's what the great work teaches you. As you learn about Venus, you learn what Venus is like in our day-to-day lives. As you learn about Mars, you learn about Mars in yourself and in the stuff around us, and you begin to understand it, and we start to see this universe as more of a matrixy kind of thing, where you just see the code, that's being compiled around us. And these books, these fucking grimoires, the 3 books of occult philosophy, the Greek magical papyri, all these traditional texts that we have are teaching us how to do that and how to use it. And it's important for magicians to do that, because that's why they've been writing these books about it, was so that we could be the light against the darkness, to cleanse the world, to heal the fucking world with the philosopher's stone. With the fucking philosopher's stone. Anyway, that's what the principles of planetary magic is about. Teach you about all 7 spheres and how to resonate with it, and then how to conjure the spirits, what the spirits are, how to work with them on a regular basis. That's all there. Courses are free. This is all free. You have to register at my site. to get to the course materials, but it's all out there, you guys. It's all out there. I also have a YouTube channel, and hopefully you're watching this on my YouTube channel right now, because that's always better, in my opinion. All right, so my channel, this is all my stuff, right? And it's I don't like how YouTube is organized. It's not very well organized. So what I've got on my site now, if you go up to the Orphic Zeus cult, this is where all my YouTube stuff is basically laid out. All right, so, well, actually, this is where that's not true. This is where the concept of the Zeus cult is laid out, right? So this is where I talk about the Dervani papyrus here, and a little high level understanding of what it looks like to be a part of the Zeus cult or whatever. And the Zeus cult is really just about doing the great work, you guys. It's using the model of Zeus's Orphic, the Orphic Zeus's transformation from Olympic sky god into the demiurge that recreated the universe in its own image, right? Which is a metaphor for our own process of attaining our powers to create and recreating our universe according to our desires, right? That's the magical path. That's the projection. That's the path towards projection, is learning how to create the universe. And that's what the Dervani manuscript says Zeus did. He consumed the Orphic egg, right? The folly of the universe, the generative principle. He internalized it and recreated the universe in his own image. And that's what the Zeus cult thing is all about. It's about tapping into that, because it became us. That eternal power of creation became the universe. It is emerging constantly through everything. And that's what the Zeus cult is about. It's about understanding it in a practical, meaningful way that brings you health and harmony in your life, right? So anyway, you can see about the Zeus cult here on the Orphic Zeus cult, really Orphic Zeus cult it's really Orphic. It's not really a very Orphic, but it's Orphish. The Dervani manuscript represents an Orphic tradition that is not very well documented. It has lots of gaps in it, and I appreciate that, because basically I fill up those gaps with what I want to believe about it instead, because it's easier to present the light that I experience around a framework, right? And even a loose framework is better than no framework. All right, so anyway, the YouTube channel stuff is where most of the Zeus cult stuff happens. So it is, if you join my YouTube memberships here, it's under memberships. That's how you actually access all the videos and content that I have that's useful for this. It's separate from the classes. The classes are for everybody. It's just Hermetic magic, as I understand it, based on Agrippa and the 16th century traditions and some stuff from Zeus, but mostly it's just Agrippa. It's like 16th century goetic magic, not goetic, grimoire magic, right? It includes the Goetia, but that's just part of it. But the Zeus cult stuff and the whole great work stuff, that's all part of this membership thing, right? So if you join as a member, I've got different levels of members. There's the here. The Rebel Orphan is $25 a month. You get access to once a month videos, which I haven't been doing, but I honestly didn't realize I had anybody had signed up. I wasn't like I did it a couple times, and I looked and there was nobody showing up, so I was like, oh well, I guess this isn't that important to people. But it turns out that it is, and I've had a bunch of people sign up for it, and I didn't realize it. And somebody was like, hey, when are we going to do those? And I was like, oh shit, I haven't been doing those because I didn't think I needed to. But anyway, today we're doing it today. Today we're going to be talking about initiations. That's at 5 p.m. Pacific, and what happens when you go through an initiation, how to do an initiation, what happens when you go through it, and dealing with the consequences. And it's also going to be an Ask Me Anything session for members. We've got the so that's the Rebel Orphan thing. So there's also a whole members only videos. Let's see, where is it? Playlist. All right, so my playlists are, we've got okay, so the Conjuration class is public. You can totally you guys can just see that. Head for the Red stuff is also public. This is all free stuff. You don't have to be a membership of anything. But the Rebel Orphans classes, right? So here's the list of oops, no, Nope, that's not what I wanted. Can I just see the videos? Anyway, here's the videos. Right, so we've got this one coming up this afternoon. That's the scheduled one. And then there's this one I did before and a bunch that I've done before. So there's like transformation magic. I don't remember what August was. Wealth magic principles, cursing and reversing, using planetary pinnacles, about the rebel orphan phase. And then today we're going to be doing this one, which hasn't started. That's today at 5. And today that's going to be the integrating the initiation. So as we go through the initiations, how to integrate the power, how to use it to change your life and change the lives of those around you. All right, so that's what the Rebel Orphan stuff is about. It also includes the hypnosis videos. So if you're studying the stuff that I'm into, one of the things, oh shit, where'd it go? God damn it, where's my playlist? All right, playlists. All right, so one of the things you get are these hypnosis initiations. It's 7 videos. Let's see. All right, so this is 7 videos on that, and it's the we're not in the right order. God damn it, this should be up here. Anyway, it should be you just go from the bottom up: Moon, and then Mercury, and then the Sun, and then Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, right? And if you do all 7 of those, you'll go through the 7 spheres of initiation. These are hypnosis videos. They put you in a trance. You walk down a forest hill, and then we conjure the initiation consists of the Orphic hymn to the planet, the calling on of the gods by the archangel. So it's the god, the archangel, and I think that's it for these, honestly. And it's just basically what we did with the 7 spheres. If you've read the book, The 7 Spheres, these are basically hypnotizing you and doing the initiation and asking for blessings. And if you want to see the script for that, I think I have it in there somewhere. I think I put in the links. But those are out there. Let's see, what else? Occult powers, that's a free, that's all public. But this was a good bunch of a series of stuff that I had going on. Occult powers. Sorry, but these are like a series of 4 classes I did about the magical powers and how to use them in our life in a decent way, and it's based on the 777 columns that I had to study when I was part of the AA Astro Argent. But anyway, I got better. This is my watch later list. It's mine. Tutelary spirits. This is the playlist for all the tutelary spirits videos, right? And this is class 1, 2, and 3. All right, everyone, welcome to the class. We're gonna get started here. It's 4 o'clock. There you go. And principles of magic. You can see these things pretty easily. I've got interviews with other occultists. My friend in Telekaya, his stuff back in the day, he was more into OTO than he is now. I should probably move on with that. These things I think are gone. Blackwork Live. I don't know why that has Vivo on there. Oh, this is. I accidentally put ABBA in there. ABBA was not supposed to be in the Blackwork Live. Anyway, these are all the different things that I've provided. Also, if you're in the okay, so that's the Rebel Orphan phase is that stuff. Titanomachy, this is the next level up. This is I don't have it up there. Anyway, the Titanomachy comes with it's like the next phase. So Rebel Orphan is about getting initiated, going through the 7 spheres, and dealing with those the basic boot camp to get your powers as a hermetic magician flowing, to get past the initial shit that shakes off easy and readily on the top layer, and then after you start integrating the initiatory powers, after that, we've got deeper stuff, right? The deeper stuff, getting rid of the things that stand in the way between you and your success, things that keep you from being prosperous, and like if you have stuff with your exes that are still like causing you harm, I've got an X-Hex course materials. You can just watch it on your own here. It's part of the Titanomachy bundle, and that includes all this other stuff too, of course. This is all based on the Patreon model, I think, is what YouTube put together. But the YouTube memberships, like every level, you get more and more stuff. And I've named this based on the whole process of the Zeus initiations. He started out as a rebel orphan, right? He was raised on the Isle of Didymus or Didykos, the Didkian cave. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, he was in this cave, and he was raised as an orphan. And basically, he got to see his mom once in a while. His grandmother would show up once in a while, but most of the time he was raised by the Karadotes, the gods that clashed their shields together to cover his cries. They were the mountain gods. They were the field gods. They were basically rough and ready tough. They were the gods of the shepherds and farmers and the mountains and the forests. And he was fed by Aletheia, the goat / muse, or nymph, depending on which story you've read. But Aletheia brought him sustenance, and he was raised pretty much left on his own, a little deity baby screaming in the hills, right? Raised by a bunch of crazy guys out in the woods. Anyway, so that's the rebel orphan phase. Is named after that part of his life. After he came into his own, after he got his own powers, he started the Titanomachy. Zeus went after the gods, the Titans, and he went to war against his father. He's infiltrated the courts of the Titans and made his father regurgitate his brothers and sisters. That Rhea was so pissed about him not being able to have a decent family. So Saturn had to puke up all of his brothers and sisters so he could go to war, right? So he snuck in, he put all the other gods to sleep. He did it with a drinking game too, you guys. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if you know this one, but this is it's a story I read once when I was doing the research on this shit, and I can't find it anymore. I don't know where I read it, but I know I read it. But basically, the idea was that he started a drinking game. He invented drinking games, and he was like, let's all see who can drink the most. And the gods had never done that. The Titans had never done that. So they would drink and drink and drink, and they loved it. They thought it was great. And once he got him used to playing this drinking game on a regular basis, he poisoned their cups. He put sleeping potions in everybody's cup, and he learned that from Metis. Metis was the goddess of magic who taught him pharmacopoeia, right? So he used pharmacopoeia to put the other Titans to sleep and to make his father regurgitate all of his brothers and sisters. And then he started the Titanomachy. So the Titanomachy represents the part of your life where you go up against the titanic fucking forces that are beyond your personal control, right? Like the 7 spheres initiations are where we go through and deal with our shit most of the time. A little bit of it, like the surface level stuff, the stuff that dims our shine. Getting rid of that stuff is pretty light work. It's great work. It's hard work. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of suffering before you get to wisdom, but the sooner you accept the wisdom, the less you have to suffer. But the Titanomachy represents dealing with the harder things that are much harder for us to deal with, right? And that's the like betrayals. When I did the X-Hex thing, it's a multi-sphere, right? It's the Saturn, Mars, and then the Sun to Saturn and Mars to break connections, and then the Sun, right, to heal all that stuff, and then a Venus, right, to bring the right love into your life, right, so that you can fix all that, And when I started putting this together for people, it was because I still had some crap where I had been hurt in my past, so I didn't want it to impact my current and future my current and future life. I didn't want the baggage from my exes ruining my life anymore. They ruined enough of my life. So I was like, fuck that. So, but when I did that, like I had stuff come up from girlfriends years and years ago, right? That I had completely forgotten about, that I still had connections to, the feelings of betrayal and all this stuff, But all that stuff that we carry around with us, that's what the Titanomachy is for, is to really do the deep work on that. Conjuring a prosperous life falls under that, because a lot of the reasons that you're poor is because we got fucked over as children. We were raised to think we should be poor. One of the reasons I framed the entire Seven Spheres book as becoming a king and receiving the blessings of Jupiter, the anointing of God that would bring you into your full power, was because I was raised to believe I should be poor and quiet and silent and participate, a cog in the machine. I wasn't told that I was brilliant and beautiful and smart and awesome and could do whatever the fuck I wanted to with all the powers of creation at my disposal. I still have to fight against that. And part of that was money. I was raised in a poor family where poorness was a way of life, not because we didn't make enough money, but because we spent it poorly. We spent it like poor people, and we didn't have anything to show for it. I still struggle with that, right? So that's what this Conjuring a Prosperous Life is about, to bring that healing and to bring that that opportunity. And basically, it's you come up with a wild ass idea and you bless it with all seven spheres. You release everything that is stopping you from getting it over 14 days, and then you do a big ritual of all seven spheres to pull all that shit together and get what you want to manifest, right? And it's something that is useful. But anyway, you get that for free with the Titanomachy. You got access to those things. And then the Olympic ruler is just sort of like, if you really like my stuff and you want to come to all my stuff for free, that's fine. You can do that. And it also includes like all my stuff is free for you. Like right, we do hermetic harmonizations. Me and my wife are doing those things. Nicole plays the bowls, and I do the conjuration of the seven spheres, and we call on the spirits to bring charity with all the astrological stuff and fix our lives and re-up our power levels so that we can deal with all the shit that's going on astrologically and politically and socially and all that stuff. But anyway, any RO online events would be free with this. Any RO sponsored public conferences and events are going to be at cost. So what that means is, like, if I ever get my shit together enough to do a conference like I'd like to do and invite my fellow magician friends to speak at it, less and less interested in that these days, to be honest. The whole conference culture is weird, and I don't have the relationships with the magicians that I used to have that would make it be something. And I'm not sure I would really want to. I don't ever want to go back to how I was when I was able to sustain those relationships. That's just these days I don't have the mental health. I don't have the spoons. I don't have the spoons to give on this, right? It's just there's stuff you have to do to get along with people that I'm not very good at, and it's just I don't feel like spending the effort on that these days enough to what it would take to be able to do public conferences and events. But eventually, I think that Nicole is going to be doing public conferences and events, and so anyway, we might be able to do stuff with that. But if I ever do get my stuff together and start doing public conferences and events, even if I don't do it with anybody else, I still want to do, like, I want to do a Seven Spheres conference where we all fucking get together and do all the initiations, like as a group, some big group rites. I think that'd be great. I want to set up a hermetic retreat spot here in the Pacific Northwest if I ever get enough money for all that, to buy the land and set it up and get it all apportioned. We'll have a temple space and all this dedicated stuff. Eventually that's on the plan. And once I do that, then we'll be doing public conferences and events. And if you're paying me $200 a month, believe me, you can come to that shit for free. Promise. But the other thing that this comes with is I don't have it on here. It's once a month you can schedule a consult with me, and you can have me for an hour. I'll answer any questions you have. We can do readings. We can do diagnoses. I used to do a hermetic diagnosis where I'd read where you were at with all seven spheres and give you a full natal chart for all your stuff. If you want that kind of thing, you can totally have that once a month from me if you sign up for that Olympic ruler part. But I don't think I have anybody who signed up for that. If I have, so here's the other thing: I can't communicate with any of the members on this stupid YouTube thing. I love that it's set up that way in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, I can't see my members list. I can't see their emails, so I can send. It turns out, and I didn't even know this, but apparently, I can do posts, members only posts, and that's how I'm supposed to communicate with people, is I'm supposed to make posts. So I didn't realize that until just this weekend. So here's a post about what's going on with this, and it's members only classes and everything. So anyway, I guess you have to watch that and pay attention to your notifications on YouTube. But if you want to send me your email address to be included on announcements, send it to rufusopus.com or rufusopus@rufusopus.com, and I will gladly, I tell you, add you to a list of people to announce all the stuff I'm doing as I'm doing it. And I created an AI they call it a co-pilot in my Microsoft tenant that is super cool. Anyway, it helps a lot with all that stuff, and by that I mean it like picks out from my list of all the people who ever interacted with me. It generates a list of all the people who might be interested in this kind of thing based on what they've purchased previously and all that stuff. It's super useful, and if I ever figure out a way to sell that, I'd probably just sell that, make some money. Anyway, that's what's going on with my YouTube channel, and my site is up to date on that. So you just click here to join. But all that's available through this Orphic Zeus cult tab here on my site. All right, so that's that now. That's for the core stuff, for the great work, right? That's the stuff I'm offering for that. That I think is useful, and that is to train us and empower us to be able to do this Lux contra tenebris thing, light against the dark. And I think that's very important. That's what we're here to do. I think, especially me. I've done some past life stuff. A couple weeks ago, I did a show about tapping into your power faster, right? And doing Saturn initiations and asking them to repower you, basically, to give you, asking Cronus to put you in conscious, or so that all the wisdom that you've gained in your previous lives, it's useful in this one, that you can apply it to it and have access to the skills and effects that you've had in previous lives. And what it does realistically is it's a way of getting you closer to your metis. Right? It's a method of tapping into your existences prior to this current incarnation. And if you don't believe you were previously incarnated, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. There's a fucking science that says energy is never created or destroyed, And if you look in your cells, the mitochondria have electricity, and that electricity powers your whole body, and it's the same electricity that was in your parents' cells and their parents' cells and their parents' cells, right? This electricity has gone through us. We have ancestors in us right now. Our entire genetics are our ancestors. This is science, you guys. We are reincarnating regularly. That which is consciousness continues to reincarnate, to incarnate, to imminently express itself through everything we do. Every word I express is fucking the same electricity that fucking got into the cells back billions of years ago in the fucking primordial goop, right? It's the same electricity. It never stopped. The cells just divide and stay alive. Reincarnation is not a fucking myth. We are it. We're doing it right now. Every time your cells divide, you're reincarnating. You're continuing the whole process. Anyway, tapping into that is what these symbol sets of the planets do. That's what time is about. Time, Cronus, is about the passage of things at a rate over an experienceable period of time. You can't experience anything without time. Chronos and Ananke, the time and necessity got together, and it was their combination that cracked the Orphic egg and allowed creativity, phanes, to be born in the Orphic mystery traditions. Right, phanes represents the power of existence. He gets consumed. The Orphic egg is basically the representation of what Zeus swallowed in the Dervani manuscript version of Orphism. That's what we're doing with all this stuff. Is we're tapping into that Orphic power of creation itself, right? And all the emanations of the gods that Zeus emanated out of his shoulders in the Orphic mystery tradition I follow, Zeus emanated all these deities out of himself so that we can interact with them and we can have knobs and whistles, knobs and levers to tap into, to receive and interact with these qualities of existence that form all things, right? All right. So anyway, that's that. All right, so that's the core stuff that I wanted to talk about for what's new on, or what's put together on my site, and ways to get to my information and the stuff that I think is useful to actually fight against the darkness by turning on your light and empowering your light. Now, if you've been paying attention to my show for years and years, which I don't think anybody really has been, but I obviously am not as enlightened as I like to think, right? I still have problems. I still have issues. As long as we're alive, there is no... When you attain the Philosopher's Stone, it turns out that you don't have... Everything isn't perfect for you forever, right? It's not... the whole thing about this existence under the moon, the reason the moon waxes and wanes, is to remind us that everything here is temporary, and even the moments of feeling illuminated and being present and aware and authentic, that's what we're striving for with the great work, is an authentic expression of our light without all the fucked up bullshit in the way. That's what the great work provides, is a chance to be authentic. And some days are better than others, and there's astrological forces coming against us. We've got Saturn and Neptune, turns out, are conjoined and they're going into Aries, and it's the end of the fucking world as we know it, right? Whatever. We have to live through it. America rose up as this great shining example, perhaps, of what it could have been. It never was for most people. It was for a couple people, but the idea that it was, I think, was sold to people so that they would support the billionaires, But that's just my opinion, because I'm jaded, because I see it being abused now. But the idea was, it was for everybody. It was supposed to be, we all get an opportunity to have our best life, to live our best lives. That we're free to do it without interference by the state, and we're able to do what we want and keep what we make, and earn things. And as long as we're fair to other people, we have people be fair to us. That's what it was supposed to be. It wasn't that complicated. It was just supposed to be nice. Just be fucking nice to each other. What the hell? And we don't need all this government. But we can't. We gotta be selfish about shit. Oh, we don't have enough. We do too. Plenty for everybody. I get mad about it. Anyway, so things are hard, and it's not, you don't ever get to a point where it's once and done. It's never, and then they lived happily ever after. And then they ended that particular set of challenges and were able to relax for a minute before going on to the next set, because that's how it is. We always have the next set of challenges, and we were able to have, in between World War II and basically 2016, we had a moment where fascists weren't fucking us up, because there were enough people who lived through it who were able to pass on the importance of not doing it. Now we got a bunch of millennials and Gen Z people who are like succumbing to the fucking stupidest far-right bullshit you've ever heard in your life, because they're fucking morons. They're fucking uneducated fucking idiots for the most part, guys. Millennials and fucking Gen X, like, there's a lot of exceptions to the rule, right? Don't get me wrong. All my occult friends, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the people that are voting for these clodhoppers. What was his name? Karl Rove had a whole plan back in the 90s and early 2000s to de-educate an entire generation, to pull funding out of schools to put people into homeschooling where they don't learn how to read. And that's the 30%. He was able to get 30% of our population so fucking stupid that they believe the immigrants are why they don't get decent jobs and not the billionaires. You have to be stupid for that. You have to be de-educated. You have to be ignorant, and your emotions have to be unregulated. And that's what they did. They appealed to their unregulated emotions, and they took away the framing structure that allowed that light of all these ignorant people that are voting for Trump, that their light got corrupted through the efforts of Karl Rove, right? And it was so that they could have it's like the Bene Gesserit trying to create their Kwisatz Haderach. You know, they had it all planned out, and they were looking forward to their Kwisatz Haderach in a generation or two, and then this fucking bitch had a baby on their own, right? And that's what happened. You know, Trump came in, and just like Muad'Dib, he took over the power of everything that was set up for a neoconservative New Age dawn from the Republicans that were going to take over everything, and it was going to be this theo-fascist fucking, I don't know what it was supposed to be, but his populist bullshit took advantage of everything that they had set up. You know, the rhinos, they're the ones that were trying to do this, and they're just mad that they didn't get to have the power. And now they have to suck fucking Trump's dick to have even a drop of money, power, and influence. And they're willing to do it, obviously. You know, whatever. The Democrats, they're fucking just corporate fucking shills. All they are is just we represent you. And they take fucking $225,000 and vote to keep funding the Department of Justice when they're killing us in the streets, right? It's a fucking farce. It's a fucking farce. And every one of those Democrats needs to fucking pay for that shit. They need to pay. Ugh. That's some bullshit. Ask me how I really feel sometime. But the whole thing is rigged, you know, and this ignorant mass of bullshit out there, this fucking idiots that are voting for these fascists, you know, they're the darkness, you know, and that's what we're the light against. And hopefully our light is enough to appeal to their light. I want to vibrate so hard that it brings out their fucking inner joy. You know what I mean? I want it to be something that is supernaturally transformative to be in my presence. That's what I want. I want to be so fucking pure that you can't be around me without feeling like shit. If you've got shit that's fucked up that you were trying to hold on to. I want to vibrate so hard they can't stand to be around me. That's my goal, you know, because fuck them. You know, I don't want them to be comfortable in their darkness. I don't want that. They shouldn't be. And not one of those bastards needs to get away with their shit. Everybody who operates out of darkness, they earned what's coming to them. All right? And what's coming to them is punishment and refinement. You don't get to be an asshole and not fucking suffer through it. I'm an alcoholic, guys. I know what happens when you quit drinking and you have to face your shit. It sucks for years. Every one of these bastards, they need to fucking suffer for years. Ask me what I really think. Anyway, point being, it's hard along the way. So we need to do things to keep in tune with the seven spheres, to keep those things clean. Because like I said, everything under the moon is temporary, and what waxes and wanes, and what wanes waxes, and it just, what goes around comes around, you know. And as the stars turn, we have different astrological forces, and they interfere with our spheres in different ways, you know. And that's what the hermetic harmonization is about. So twice a month, once during the waxing moon, once during the waning moon, Nicole and I are doing the hermetic harmonization. Do I have a thing on that? I think I do. All right. So where is it? All right. So yeah, this is the hermetic harmonization. It's Nicole plays the music of the spheres. Robert Fluctibus, Dr. Flood. Yeah, he has this thing called the divine monochord. You can see it in Agrippa, but basically it is the music of the spheres laid out in a nice little graphic. And one of our friends, we invited them to the Hermetic Harmonization last time, and they are currently creating an entire practice based on these notes and plugging it into their own planetary magic and their own chant work. I don't really understand exactly what they're doing with it, but I'm really happy to see that too, because this is really this is so powerful, you guys. It turns out that if you sit in the music of the spheres, it cleanses you. It modulates your brain. Like for me with my bipolar shit, it's like I have cyclotrithemia is what they call it, right? It's where you spin in your head and you get so excited about what you have to say because your emotions are so high, it overwhelms your prefrontal cortex and all that stuff. And I take my meds for it, but if I take enough meds to not have it happen at all, I just fucking I want to kill myself. I mean, I want to unalive myself, because it's just that's the depression side of this just gets to be too big, and it's just not what I want. That's not a way to live, So I take the bare minimum of pills necessary for me to be functional, but that means I spin out sometimes, and it's I got to be careful with it. But since Nicole started doing the sound therapy, the sound healing things, she had a friend invite her to a sound bath, and it was just so cool that she decided she was gonna pursue it more. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, be a healer. My dad was a reflexologist. It was I grew up with energy healing and the meridians and all this stuff, and I know it's effective, and it just seemed right for her, so I totally supported her for that. And she spent the last couple of years getting her certifications in it through the Sound Institute, International Sound. I don't know exactly what the title of the organization is, but she's a certified member now. She's gotten her level 2 thing, and she's able to do. She's got insurance, all this stuff. Anyway, she's a legit practitioner now. But she plays the bowls for the 7 spheres for this, and sound healing is a lot bigger than just the 7 spheres. Okay, it's the 7 spheres are a subset of everything that she provides and offers, and it's really cool. And I'm looking forward to helping her get that information out and about, because sound healing turns out to be really fucking powerful, and it goes back to Pythagoras. Agrippa talks about it. It's part of Hermetics. It was never supposed to be a quiet temple. It was never supposed to be like that. But Pythagoras used to sit people in front of these bells, and he had a thing that would spin, and it would bring the bell in front of them that they were supposed to hear, and they'd play the bells, and the vibrations would bathe them, and it would create a resonance inside of them that would bring them the healing and the peace of mind that they were looking for. And the peace of mind, you guys, it stays with me for about 3 days after the event, before I needed another recharge. But you'll see it right away if you participate in this. So the Hermetic Harmonization is a way to stay in tune with the 7 spheres and connect to those powers. It's a way to it's a formal recharging process, and also we offer based on Christian Lily's Christian astrology. Lily was a Renaissance astrologer, and he taught about planetary charity, right? And basically you make offerings to the gods of the planets to offset any cross conditions you might have based on where the stars are. And this is something that, like, each one of us have our own cross conditions when the stars are in different places, right? So like I might be crossed because Jupiter is in a bad place relative to where I was born, or you might be crossed, or you might be blessed because Jupiter's in the same place, right? So just because the stars are where they are doesn't mean we all receive the same blessings and energies. We're going to react to it and respond to it and resonate to it based on our own natal chart, right? So our natal chart creates our resonance, and then based on that, we have the changing resonance of the universe that we interact with, right? And right now, the resonance of the universe is drawing out all the fascists, and it does it every time that this particular conglomeration is going on in the stars, and it's happened historically, and we know what's going on. It draws out the revolutionaries, it draws out the tyrants, it draws out all the people that are necessary to play out the lessons that we're supposed to learn as these manifestations, or however you want to look at it. The wisdom that we have to acquire requires this particular oppression and this particular response to oppression. We need a tyrant, and we need a fucking revolutionary force to overthrow the tyrant. That's what has to happen every 40 fucking years or 60 years or however long it is, for us to get liberty. The cost of liberty is eternal vigilance, and a generation goes by and they forget. Another generation grows up and they don't know. And then we have to do it again and again and again and again until enough of us are enlightened enough or aware enough of our inner light to project that instead, and that's what I'm hoping we can do. I'm hoping we can do it, but if we can't do it for everyone, we can do it for ourselves and for as far as we can reach. What is a magician's sphere? Your magician's sphere is your sphere of influence, and it's as far as your arms reach and everything else you can affect with that. We don't all have the power of an international, well-known whatever. We can't all change the world at the same level, but we can all change our world and everything that we can. Everything we can change, we can change. That's our sphere. That's what the 7 spheres initiations empower you to do, is to control everything in your sphere as much as you can, to influence it, to change it, to direct it, to respond to it, and to direct the forces of light against the forces of darkness as they materialize, right? And the only thing that causes darkness is nobody doing the light. That's where the darkness comes from, is when you stop doing the light. You turn off the lights and everything's dark. It's not like there's no twilight time for how things go. I mean, you might get a little bit of a sunset here and there, or sunrise, but honestly, it seems to me like maybe it's because I'm getting older. Time goes by a lot faster than it used to. Anyway, forgot what I was talking about, to be completely frank. But yeah, the hermetic harmonization is a way to keep your power up throughout the stress that's going on. We're going to do it tomorrow. Sorry for short notice. But we're doing it every 2 weeks now. Where's my Vitruvius guy? Okay. All right. So we're doing hermetic harmonization twice a month anyway, not necessarily every 2 weeks, but once after the new moon and once after the full moon. We're going to do the 7 spheres thing, and Nicole plays the music of the spheres, and I do the conjurations. I do the Orphic hymn, conjuration of the archangels, and the 28 spirits. So every planet has 4 spirits associated with it. I don't have it handy here. I mean, I do, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, these. Okay. Right. So, all the planets have the talismans associated with it. Anyway, there's 7 talismans in the Key of Solomon, and each one of them has 4 spirits on it. Those are in my cosmology. Those are the ones I work with to manipulate the material world. And basically, I do the Orphic hymn, I conjure the 7 archangels, and then I conjure the 4 spirits under them as all part of one section, and then I go on to the next planet. I do the Orphic hymn, the archangel, and the 4 spirits, and there's text around that too, to direct the forces, to bring charity and balance and inner empowerment and initiation and all that stuff, integration of the forces. So we go through that twice a month, once during the waning moon to release things that are standing between us and our desires, and once again in the waxing moon to empower us to materialize the things that we desire. Right? So that's tomorrow, and I also wanted to say we got a request. So where is it? Teach. There it is. Okay. So if you want to see that or participate in the hermetic harmonization, it's on my homepage here. If you scroll down on the left, there it is, hermetic harmonization. It's $25 a session. We lowered the price. When we originally came out with it, we were going to do $38, and just once a month we were going to do it. Then we decided, after doing the waning moon, that we should probably do it the waning and waxing, so we were doing it at $38 each. And that's like $76. So we were like, that's a lot. So we decided to do it $25 each if you want to do it individually. And if you want to subscribe, you can just pay. It's still $38 a month. there's a subscribe button here, and I don't like subscriptions, but we got a request for it, so it's there. Now, also, with my YouTube stuff, every level of membership includes discounts on my stuff on my website, right? So it's 25% off if you're a Rebel Orphan, and 50% off if you're in the Titanomachy. After 90 days, you get 50% off. But actually, that's not true. You can just sign up for it and take it. I don't care. I would rather that you don't do that, because everything that I make is actually expensive. So I'd rather you don't take advantage of it too hard. But if you're paying me, $50 a month for stuff, I don't mind giving you a discount on my stuff. But it's a quid pro quo, Okay, so this talks about what the purpose of the cult was. Where did I talk about the membership levels? Oh yeah, here it is. So it's, I think you get like Rebel Orphan, I think you get 25% off, and Titanomachy you get 50% off, and then Olympic Ruler you get all the events for free, but also you get the 50% off for all the other things. So by all means, sign up. I appreciate the support financially for sure, but also I think that this is a pretty valuable thing. And the point of this, you guys, is to equip magicians. It's to equip magicians and make magicians so that we can all have a better life. Because I think magicians make life better for everybody with the light against the darkness. And I don't know how to just get paid to do magic, so this covers the rent. This covers the bills. It helps a lot. All right, so anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about with that. I meant to do the Orphic the chant yesterday, but like I said, my website was broken. I got it fixed, and then I got all wrapped up in the emotions of the day, so I did not do the Saturn day daily chant. But every day in the morning, one of the things I do, here, let me go back to this. All right, so back over here, if you go to the Orphic Zeus cult, down at the bottom it talks about the daily mantra. Talk about why I do it and what it's about. Dervani manuscript and virus, all that stuff. And the chant is another way to stay in tune with the planetary forces. So every day I do a Orphic hymn to the day, to the planet that is represented on the day. A conjuration of the spirit, the archangel, and the four spirits. So it's Orphic hymn, and then God name, I ask you to send now your archangel name, and the four spirits, blah, 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 of the pinnacles of Solomon, to bless and consecrate my rights. Bless and consecrate my life, to materialize my desires, all that stuff, right? Every morning I do that, and then I do a chant, because chants are very beneficial to you spiritually. And it turns out you can just about chant almost anything and have it be beneficial, because as long as there's an M sound in it, Zeus ho mesos, mesos, when you say the M, it vibrates your nasal cavities in a certain way that creates nitric oxide, and it changes your brain chemistry in a way that helps you be more aware of what's going on spiritually, right? It vibrates your vagus nerve. It goes through your whole body and regulates things in your thyroid. It helps everything kind of get a little bit better if you vibrate and intone some sounds that include all the vowels every day, right? And it's a useful thing that turns out to be really valuable in setting the tone. And it creates a resonance with where the planets are right now on a daily basis for you. So this isn't something everybody has to do, but if you're part of the Zeus cult, that's what we do in the mornings. I try to do it in the mornings at 8 a.m. Saturday, I just forgot. I just got wrapped up in my shit, and that one thing led to another, and then I totally didn't do it. So yesterday was the first time I haven't done it in a couple weeks. But I try to do it every morning around 8. Today I'm also running late because I was fixing all this stuff up. I wanted to be ready to show all this when I did the mantra, and I just fucking got wrapped up in it. Now it's 2 o'clock. And I wanted to make sure I announced that we have our Rebel Orphan thing tonight, and I wanted to do a show for everybody else, because like the Rebel Orphan thing is just for members only, but I don't want to fucking not do outreach to everybody. You know what I mean? I want to remind all of us that we have access to power, and that the planetary magic is one way to do it, but magic is all about power to change things we don't like. And right now there's a lot I don't like in the world, and I know everybody who's watching this pretty much agrees with me about where things should be, you know, and I want you to be empowered to change the world too, on our behalf, because I think we're on the same side. So I wanted to reach out to you guys about that today, but I'm about to do the daily chant. If you want to see what it's like, I've got a different, sorry about that. I didn't know it was gonna play. I think the dog is about to go out. But anyway, this is what the Orphic chant, Orphic hymn thing looks like every morning around 8. I put this up. We do 108 recitations of Zeus the head, Zeus the middle, Zeus the all in all. I have a little counter that tells us what's going on down there. And after we do, so it goes Orphic hymn, and then the request for the Archangel of the day, and I had it set up for yesterday. I never did it, but the Archangel of the day and the 4 spirits of the day. So today is Sunday. It would be Michael. Dun, 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 dun. And the 4 spirits are Shemishiel, and Ammonia, Rakodia, and Malkiel. And so we'll call on those spirits. We'll do the Orphic hymn, call on those spirits, and then 108 recitations of Zeus the head, Zeus the middle, and Zeus the all in all. And that represents that after he swallowed the Phanic source of power in the universe and recreated it in his own image, he took on the noetic form of God, the head, the mind of God, the nous of Neoplatonism, the good in Timaeus and in Plotinus. You know, he is the essence of that. If you read through the what's it called? The Headless Rite. He is the headless. He is the headless. He is he who hates that evil is done on the earth, right? But I think honestly you can't help it sometimes, because it's just, otherwise I don't think we would have evil if we didn't have to overcome it. But I don't understand why there has to be evil. It doesn't make him an evil god necessarily, and even if it does, it doesn't change the fact that we still have to fucking deal with it, right? And we have the means to do it. And all the texts of the Divine Pymander in particular teaches that the way to do that is to pursue your source. And when I pursue my source, I'm not overcome by the darkness. I'm empowered against it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's valuable. And my way to do that has been useful for me. It's based on Jason Miller's techniques that he presented in his Sorcery of Hecate system. You know, that was the first time I saw anybody do a mantra that had been revealed to them that was powerful and turn it into a powerful practice. And it turns out that it works out great for Hecateons everywhere. And it's like, okay, so I'll try it with the Zeus ho Kephale, Zeus ho Mesos, Zeus ho Pantocrator, which is Zeus the head, Zeus the middle, and Zeus the all in all. And to me, it represents that he's the source. And this is directly out of the Derveni manuscript. There's a hymn of Cleanthes to Zeus from pre-Socratic stuff, I think. But the hymn of Cleanthes to Zeus talks about how Zeus is the head, the center, and the all in all. And that particular manifestation is Zeus the head, Zeus the middle, Zeus the all in all, and that represents him being the source of everything, the root. He's also all the gods that he had emerged out of his shoulders, and the mountains and the lovely streams. He's everything. So he's the head. He's the spirits that represent all the individuated consciousness of myself and yourself, and also all your pets, and also all the spirits that we contact, Michael and Shemishiel, Paimonia, Rakodia. These are all coalesced vibrational energies of consciousness that represent forces that we work with, that are that we can communicate with. They are communicable powers, right? So those entities are all part of Zeus the Middle, and those entities all interact with us through our choices, through our calling on them, through our embodiment of the powers of the planets and their qualities in our day-to-day lives. That's how this universe is formed. The situations that we go through in our day-to-day lives are formed through us interacting with the forces of creation on a regular basis, right? So that's the middle layer, and the experiences are the all in all. So that's the Zeus Ho Pantokrator. So Zeus the source is all the electricity and energy of the universe, the substrate. Zeus the middle is all the ways that that force embodies itself within us, right? And Zeus the all in all is the universe that is created through that middle layer that we experience, that we project our light into, and that we receive the light projected from the other entities through, in, from. I lose sight of the prepositions a little bit. But anyway, now I'm going to do that. Thank you for sticking around for the first part of this. And let me go back to this real quick. Yeah, so thank you very much for... where is it? All right. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate listening to all that stuff, going over all the stuff that I've got set up on my site, and hearing me admonish everybody and encourage everybody to become the light and do that for yourself. I don't expect everybody to stick around if you've been watching. I don't expect you all to hang out and participate in the Zeus chant. You're welcome to, of course. I'm not... everybody is welcome. I don't have my stuff up anymore. Dang it. That makes me sad. But anyway, I'm missing the entire chat log. If anybody is saying anything, I haven't seen any of it, and I can't pull it up now. That is lame. I wish I'd had it set up right earlier, but I forgot to do that. There's always one more step. Let's see. Maybe I can pull it up here. Nope. All right. I guess not. Yeah, if you were chatting with me, I apologize I missed it. Feel free to put stuff in, and I'll try to address it afterwards. Thank you all for sitting there and listening to me go on about this stuff, expressing my venting, my spleen, and also my plans for how to deal with it and to turn chaos into pleasurable experiences through the transformation of crap into gold, right? Lead into gold is what we're doing here, you know. So thank you for hearing me on that. I'm going to go do the Orphic hymn now and our daily chant, and if you want to stick around, you're welcome to, but don't feel obliged. This is mostly for me, and anybody else that wants to participate is welcome. Okay. There you go, George. I see you. Should have known that you were here. Good. All right. So without further ado, let me pull up my Orphic hymn. Today's the sun. So ready for the sun. All right. So solar power is about revealing things. It is the light of life that flows through us. Arguably everything on Earth is the embodiment of sunlight and motion. We are the sole vice regents of the sun upon the Earth. We get to express how everything that we eat and turn into our sustenance, our flesh, our cells, we get to decide how we're going to express that light. And all of the stuff that we eat comes from the sun. The sun beams down and becomes grass, and cows eat the grass, and we eat obviously just carrots and lettuce because we're all vegetarians, but some of us eat meat and we eat the cows. But basically it's just light being transformed through different stages of existence so that we can express what we want to do with our lives, right? So that's the power of the sun. The sun is also Helios. Helios sees all, knows all. The Orphic hymn talks about how he is the source of all. It's a lot of these Orphic hymns talk about how they're all the source of all, but I think what that's referencing is that essence of Zeus that is manifesting through them. So anyway, on with it. Here's the Orphic hymn to the sun. I take 3 deep breaths to cleanse, focus, and calm my mind, body, and heart. Read the hymn and then do the chant. Here, golden Titan, whose eternal eye with broad survey illumines all the sky, self-born, unwearied, in diffusing light, and to all eyes the mirror of delight. Lord of the seasons, with thy fiery car, and leaping coursers beaming light from far, with thy right hand the source of morning light, and with thy left the father of the night. Agile and vigorous, venerable sun, fiery and bright, around the heavens you run, foe to the wicked, but the good man's guide, o'er all his steps propitious you preside. With various founding golden lyre, 'tis thine to fill the world with harmony divine. Father of ages, guide of prosperous deeds, the world's commander borne by lucid steeds, immortal Jove, all-searching, bearing light, source of existence, pure and fiery bright, bearer of fruit, almighty Lord of years, agile and warm, whom every power reveres, great eye of nature in the starry skies, doomed with immortal flames to set and rise, dispensing justice, lover of the stream, the world's great despot and over all supreme. Faithful defender in the eye of right, of steeds the ruler and of life the light, with founding whip for fiery steeds you guide, when in the car of day you glorious ride. Propitious on these mystic labors shine, and bless thy suppliants with a life divine. Helios, I ask that you send now your spirit Mikael. By his name and his seal I call him forth, and the 4 spirits of the pinnacles of the sun, Shemishiel, Paimonia, Recodia, and Malkiel. Come now from wherever you may be, and appear before me to manifest my desires. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho cephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus Ocephale, Zeus O Mesos, Zeus O 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 Pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus ho kephale, Zeus ho mesos, Zeus ho pantocrator. Zeus Ocephale, Zeus Mesos, Zeus 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 Pantocrator. Zeus
Zeus Ocephale, Zeus O Mesos, Zeus O Pantocrator. 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 Zeus O Pantocrator. Zeus O Pantocrator. Okay, that's our 108. Thanks for sticking with me. Those who did, appreciate y'all very much. Take care. I will talk to you all later. Oh, and don't forget, you guys, if anybody wanted that, forgot to mention it, the Picatrix mirror, I need to have orders in by the 30th to make sure I make enough. A couple of people have already purchased it. Hope everybody does, because it's super useful.